More than 6 billion years ago, something amazing happened. A dying star exploded. The blast from the explosion rippled through a cloud of dust and debris, and a new star began to form. 1 billion years later, our sun was born. Around it swirled a disk of gas, dust, and rock. Under the gravitational force of the sun, these materials began to pull together into large clumps until finally, around 4.5 billion years ago, planets were formed, locked into orbit around our sun. Including Earth, 9 planets circle the sun, and smaller bodies called satellites circle those planets. And this intricate system of orbiting planets, satellites, meteors, and asteroids make up our solar system. Where better to start a tour of the solar system than with the solar center? This is the sun. The sun is the largest body in our solar system. It's so big that if it was hollow, you could fit 1 million Earths inside of it. And it's so hot that even though it's almost 93 million miles from Earth, the heat it produces warms our planet, and its light can be blinding. As we move away from the sun, we will encounter new and mysterious lands. Seen through telescopes and space missions, we've gotten the opportunity to glimpse the surfaces of places where humans have never set foot. First come the terrestrial planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Terrestrial means Earth-like, and they all are, kind of, but each one is unique. So let's take a look. The first of the terrestrial planets is Mercury. Mercury is covered with lots of craters, but not a lot of atmosphere. One function of an atmosphere is to insulate or protect the planet from harsh heat and cold. With practically no insulation, Mercury is a land of temperature extremes. During the daytime on Mercury, the temperature reaches about 800 degrees Fahrenheit, but the portion of the little rocky planet that is not hit by sunlight often falls to a chilly minus 300 degrees Fahrenheit. If Mercury doesn't have enough atmosphere, our next stop has too much. Because of it, the temperature on Venus barely changes at all. It often lingers near 900 degrees Fahrenheit, making it the hottest planet in the solar system. The atmosphere on Venus is so thick and cloudy that even though very little sunlight breaks through, the sun's heat does, and it gets trapped. Of all the planets, Venus is closest to Earth in size and mass, and just closest to Earth, period. Even so, it's still 27 million miles away. Speaking of Earth, here we are, the third rock from the sun. Look familiar? It's pretty spectacular no matter how you look at it. 24-hour days, 365-day years, and the only planet in the solar system to support life as we know it. Not a bad place to call home. But if we did decide to settle somewhere else, Mars is certainly a candidate. Mars is also known as the red planet because the rock's light surface contain iron oxide, which gives them a rust-colored reddish look. The landscape of Mars has it all: mountains, canyons, polar ice caps, and long ago it was covered with water. But today humans would find Mars a harsh environment. The water has dried up, and the temperature averages a brisk minus 67 degrees Fahrenheit. But that hasn't stopped people from dreaming of a visit to the red planet. But let's not settle just yet. We have 5 more planets to visit, and this is where our tour gets really unusual. asteroid belt, a ring of rocks and debris that circles the sun out beyond Mars. The next 4 stops are the giant planets: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. They are all mostly made up of gas, and they all have rings, not to mention that they are much bigger than Earth and its terrestrial cousins. These are the outer planets. These planets have always been more mysterious than the terrestrial planets, but in 1977 a mission was launched to find out about these distant landings. The mission was called Voyager. It sent 2 unmanned spacecraft out to pass close by each gas giant and send pictures back to Earth. In 1979, Voyager reached its first destination.
Jupiter.
Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system. It's 2.5 times larger than all the other planets, satellites, asteroids, and comets of our solar system put together. And it has a giant red spot moving around its equator. The spot alone is 3 times the size of Earth. The spot is a storm that has raged on Jupiter for as many years as humans have watched the planet. You'll notice that the rings of Jupiter are very hard to see. They are a disk of particles as fine as smoke. They are so faint that the best way to view them is from the top of Jupiter's clouds. But no matter where you stand, the rings of our next planet are one of the most amazing sights in the whole solar system. Welcome to Saturn. From a distance, the rings look solid. But look closer. They are made up of billions of icy particles ranging from the size of small pebbles to the size of small cars. These particles orbit the planet, reflecting the light of the distant sun and projecting a colorful and truly amazing display. Looking at the rings from Saturn's cloud tops, the planet seems peaceful. In fact, nothing could be farther from the truth. Windstorms 10 times stronger than a hurricane on Earth rage around Saturn's equator. Saturn may just be one of those places that's better to see from a distance. Uranus, the 7th planet from the Sun, has surprises of its own. It rotates differently than all the other planets in our solar system. They all spin like tops, but Uranus spins like a bowling ball. It has rings too, but unlike Saturn's bright reflective rings, the particles making up the rings of Uranus are black and hard to see. There's one more gas giant to visit. This is Neptune. The Voyager pictures reveal the blue surface with a great dark spot.